Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, my name is Julie. I've got 3 beautiful girls and I do vlogs, lifestyle, makeup, beauty, cleaning videos, all sort of things. So if you like those kind of videos, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you here. Also follow me on Instagram for daily updates, stories and posts. Today's video is all gonna be about my labor and delivery with baby number 3. I was 40 weeks plus 3 days when I woke up in the morning with contractions. They were quite irregular and not that painful, but they were contractions. So I knew exactly that today will be the day that I will have my baby, because exactly the same happened when I was in labor with my second baby. My sister was here, my other 2 babies were here, my husband was here as well because I started with contractions. He left for work, but then I said to him, like, the contractions are not stopping, they are irregular, but I'm sure it will be Labor Day today. So he came back from work because he was scared that we would not make it. As the second time that I had a baby, it was extremely fast, so it was a really high chance that it will happen again. I had like a quite relaxed time at home. I wanted to stay at home as much as possible. The contractions kept going the whole day, quite irregular, and in the afternoon, around 2ish or something like that, they started to be a little bit closer together. So I downloaded an app to monitorize my contractions. When they were 7 minutes apart, the app said, if he's not your first baby, you have to go to the hospital now. So I just did, because I was scared to have the baby at home. That was my biggest fear. So we went to the hospital. My sister stayed here at home with my other 2 little girls. Once we got to the hospital, they had a room ready for us, so we went to that room and we had like our own bathroom and toilet and a birthing ball, a bed, a bath as well. It was like a really big bedroom, like really nice. We got there about 5:20 in the afternoon. Contractions were 5 minutes apart, but some of them were irregular and some of them were like really intense and some others weren't as intense. It was a bit strange because I didn't have that kind of contractions before, so it was a bit like, I don't know what's going on. The contractions continued like that. Sorry about the noises, it's like the baby is just right next to me and she just makes goat noises. So if you hear some strange noise, is the baby, which I will show you at the end of the video. The contractions continue like that, irregular but quite close together, some of them intense, some of others weren't as intense, and about 7 o'clock they started to be really intense and much more closer together. And actually they were surprisingly not as painful as I did experience before with my second delivery. They checked how many centimeters was I dilated and I was 9.5, and some of the contractions were quite strong and it made me want to push. My waters didn't break, and then the midwife was telling me, if you need to push because the baby will come. And I was like, yeah, but my waters didn't break. And I said, like, don't worry, they will break when the baby comes, and sometimes the baby can come with the bag of water, so it's totally normal and it can happen. So I was already on the bed because they asked me how I wanted to deliver the baby, and I said, obviously for me it was super comfortable, not super comfortable obviously, but you know what I mean. I wanted to deliver my baby on the bed because for me it was the more comfortable position. So I was all ready, and when the contractions came and I needed to push, I pushed in all of them that I needed to push, and in one of those contractions and I was pushing, my waters exploded everywhere and they went across the room. It was actually really funny because it was a bath in the bedroom and it was quite close to the bed but not as close, and my waters broke and flew across the bedroom into the bath, and I soaked the midwife as well because she was right there. So it was a bit funny situation, but you know, painful as well. So yeah, when my waters broke, it was the real deal. I didn't push too long because the baby came out quite quickly. So I started pushing around 5 to 8 or something like that, and the baby was born at 8:16, so not long pushing. in one of those, before the baby came out, the midwife was monitoring it, and it said that the heart rate was going a little bit low, so I had to deliver the baby as soon as possible, and she was telling me to push as hard as possible because the baby needed to be born quickly. So as soon as she said that, I was like, right, this is it, I need to push as hard as possible. I was like biting the gas and air. I had gas and air in my hand, but I didn't use it because it made me feel really dizzy and uncomfortable, so I didn't really use it. I just was holding it and biting the bit at the end because I needed to bite something. I was like, please give me something to bite, somebody give me something to bite. So they told me to bite the little bit at the end of the gas and air, and that's what I was doing. It really helps. For some reason I didn't have that urge to bite something in my other two deliveries at all, so it was really strange, but actually really helped me to go through that pushing state, and it was amazing. I was surprised. I didn't have any kind of painkiller at all because I didn't want it. The head came out first, and then it was a few seconds before the whole body came out, so I felt the head coming out, and then the shoulders and the baby came straight to my chest. As soon as she came out, all the rest of the waters that was left inside came out, soaking completely the midwife, which she had to change her clothes afterwards because it was a crazy amount of water. It felt like it was a swimming pool inside because the whole floor was flooded. The midwife was completely drenched, and my husband was so in shock of how much water it came out from my belly. She came out kind of like gagging and being a little bit sick because she had swallowed a little bit of fluid, and they had to take her like right next to me and kind of like give her a massage for that to all come out. After that, Daddy was holding her, and while they were stitching me out, because she teared me a little bit, all my three girls have teared me as when they came out. They weren't bad at all, and this time wasn't bad at all either, so they were stitching me out, which they put some anesthetic kind of like thing in there, but it didn't really do the job that well. So the last stitches I did feel it, and it was like extremely painful. It was really uncomfortable. I couldn't move, obviously, and yeah, once I was all stitched up and everything, I really wanted to go to take a shower because I felt really gross, so I wanted to take a shower, and it felt so good. I didn't want to get out from the shower. I was so like relaxed and calm after, you know, quite of an intense delivery and quite a lot of pain. The only thing that concerned me a little bit when I stood up from the bed after giving birth is I felt a lot of pressure on my chest. I couldn't breathe properly, and I think it was because when they were stitching me up, they told me to use the gas and air when I was like, you know, in kind of a lot of pain. So they told me, please use the gas and air, that will help. So obviously I used it, and that made me so dizzy, and I think that was that much oxygen going into my chest. I think that's what created me not being able to breathe properly, and I was kind of like like that, but they said I was normal, so I didn't have to worry about it. But yeah, it's a bit concerning. It was a little bit concerning at that time, but it kind of like went away with the hours, the next following hours, because of the delivery was really good and really fast, no complications whatsoever. Baby was fine, I was fine. The minimum amount of hours that you have to stay in the hospital is 4 hours. I'm talking about UK, I don't know anywhere else, but in the hospital that I deliver, the minimum hours that you had to stay in there, it was 4 hours, and obviously in those 4 hours you have to do your first wee after delivery because they have to check that your bladder is not damaged, and you have to have a certain amount of milliliters of urine before you can go home. The first couple of trips to the toilet that I've done, they were not enough urine in there, so they wanted to have a specialist to have an x-ray and see if my bladder was damaged. So we were waiting for the specialist to come, but while we were waiting I had a lot of urge to go to the toilet again, and that time I went over the minimum that they wanted, so they just canceled the specialist and they let us go home. I was extremely happy because I was a bit worried, you know, when they tell you that it might be something wrong with you, you just like think about it and say, you know, I was a little bit worried, but so relieved afterwards that everything was fine. We were in the hospital for about 6 hours, I think. I delivered at 8:16 and we went home about 3 a.m. When we left, we went to the Tesco 24 hours and got some few toys and things for like the girls from baby. We arrived home about 4 in the morning. So exhausted, tired, and extremely happy. In a cloud. We were in a kind of like a cloud of tiredness and happiness at the same time. Also, I was just so excited for the girls to wake up in the morning and see the new baby was home and we were home and everything was fine. So that was my story this third time around. I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to be as quick as possible and not to go into much detail, just saying what it was and how it went. Hopefully some of you can relate, and if you've got any questions or something, just let me know in the comments below and I will answer all of them. I will also film a video on my first week postpartum because this time around hasn't been as good as the other 2 times. I find it quite hard. Baby woke up. She is hungry, so I'm gonna wrap this up quite quickly. I was saying that this time the recovery, I find it quite difficult and not as good as the other one, so I will film a video on my first week of postpartum. I'm gonna introduce baby. This is baby Leia. She was 7 pounds 9, my biggest baby. The other 2 were like 6'10" and 6'20" or something like that. I don't exactly remember the number, but that, and she was 6'7'9". Stop it, are you hungry? I know. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this kind of videos, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like this video if you like it. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for daily updates. See you in my next video. Bye.